and welcome to this exceptional edition of Stay Online on Forbes Middle East. A tremendous growth in the e-commerce sector is causing waves and a much welcome boost for young startups in MENA region, many of which have now succeeded in raising a record number of funds, going in line with the ongoing digital transformation across all sectors. More details in this week's report highlighting challenges and opportunities facing tech startups.
An improved ecosystem, a rise in internet shopping, and an overall demand for cashless transactions are some of the main factors easing the way for the MENA region startups to raise a record number of funds in the first half of 2021. According to Forbes Middle East, 170 companies in the MENA region have disclosed the funds they raised. Among them, 120 companies raised over $910 million in funds and loans. This boost was led by fintech and e-commerce startups, with the UAE-based startups earning the largest funds with over $420 million raised, followed by Saudi Arabia and Egypt-based startups. Estimates place the value of the e-commerce sector in the MENA region at over $20 billion at the start of 2021, with markets in Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Egypt in the lead.
So we welcome Ayman Tamer, who's the chairman of Tamer Group. Thank you so much for joining us on Stay Online here on Forbes Middle East. Let's start quickly with this tremendous change that we have seen in the e-commerce, specifically in GCC. How do you see the future of e-commerce in our region?
Hi, Jesse. Nice to be with you. Thank you for this invite. The e-commerce is going to be an exciting period in the MENA region. Today, it's estimated to reach just over $18 billion by 2024. The pandemic has certainly fuel-charged and changed consumer behavior, that more people are embracing digitalization. So I think the future is very exciting.
Fantastic. For groups such as yourself, yes, go ahead.
Taking the regional mother baby and the child market alone, it's worth over 10 billion, both online and offline, US dollars in the region, with the market growing at around 40% per year. So online penetration is still at single digits. And I believe there's a huge growth. It's obvious.
Fantastic. We hear a lot about what you're mentioning, which is the potential of the sector, potential for growth, which takes us to a lot of challenges currently facing startups, e-commerce startups in our region. What do you think are the top challenges they are facing, and some advice you can give for them to leverage these challenges?
I think for startups, e-commerce is going to be a promising period. The challenge, e-commerce is still young, and we have seen a radical shift in the last few years with pioneers like Mumzworld in the vertical space and others in the horizontal space like Souk and Noon. And they were those pioneers who paved the road and defined and shaped the ecosystem. Just a few years ago, basic enablers for e-commerce, like first mile, last mile, tech talent, and payment gateways were either non-existent or very unsophisticated. So these early players really paved the road and created this environment and came a long way with golden standards that they will benefit from in the future. The other thing is that e-commerce necessitates a different way of doing things. A consumer wants access to choice, wants transparency, wants competitive pricing, immediate gratification, and an exceptional, tailored, and personalized experience. The brand that delivers this is the one that will come on top. We've seen many companies try and fail. It's a testament to Mumzworld, amazing performance over the last 10 years, where it did not only continue to grow, but maintain its market leadership throughout this very competitive and difficult period. The second challenge, another challenge very important, is that the market is changing rapidly. E-commerce startup is a great opportunity for many, but there will be other challenges. For example, the whole market will change, and there's not really clear. There is not a clear manual on how to do a startup in the digital e-commerce business today.
When you say we will see a lot of changes in the e-commerce, what changes are you want to highlight?
I think more sophistication, better ecosystem, a more demanding consumer, a more competitive landscape.
Exactly, yes. And a lot of speed in transactions as well is what consumers tell us they're looking for. You mentioned Mumzworld quite positively. It was great news for both sides recently. Why did you choose to acquire Mumzworld, having invested in the entity back in 2018?
Yeah, it was earlier than 18. We have invested in them. We had about 13% share from their early stage. But really, the first question comes to my mind or answer is people, talent. We believed in the talent of the management team, inspiring. And Mumzworld is a market leader, has recorded 10 times growth over the last 5 years alone, with a lot of repeated orders and loyal customers. So with the market drivers in favor, such as young population, strong birth rates, robust purchasing power, and highly digitized consumers, e-commerce adoption will increase on and on. I believe Mumzworld has a bright future ahead with exceptional and exponential growth.
Perfect. A lot has been said about this acquisition, though some details were still left undiscussed. Would you be able to give us maybe a little bit of an insight on the criteria that you followed to make this choice for this acquisition?
Again, the criteria, the first thing again comes to my mind is the people, the talent, the management team. But of course, we did our due diligence. We did the whole process, and there were many day-to-day financial operational KPIs we had to look into. Of course, we looked at whether the company has and will continue to have a compelling growth opportunity, and we see it clearly. And does it have superior unit economies, the basket sizes, etc.? And does it enjoy positive market drivers and reputation? And all this Mumzworld has. And finally, most important, is the management team. You can have an acquisition, but without an inspiring, visionary management team, we would not have made this acquisition at Mumzworld. We believe in them, and we feel there's a huge opportunity that lays ahead. For Tamer, it was an important move towards our transformation journey. And we see that this will raise many opportunities of synergy for further growth in the future, and will also allow us to better reach and serve our beloved consumers in the region, particularly focused in Saudi Arabia.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have. You gave us a lot of insights specifically for young tech startups now looking maybe to attract investors in this field. Ayman Tamer, chairman of Tamer Group, thank you so much for joining us on Stay Online for Forbes Middle East. We look forward to meeting all of you again next week. Any questions you may have or suggestions, we also follow it on the hashtag of our show, Stay Online and Forbes Middle East. Thank you for joining us.